Good day. I'm Jeevita and I'll be presenting a seminar on the law of demand. I'll be explaining the law of demand and also the determinants of demand. First, let's look at the law of demand. In a market, we have the buyers and then the sellers. All of the quantities of a good or service that buyers would be willing and able to buy at all possible prices is called demand. Let's take an example. So we have a buyer who wants to buy a book for a science course. He goes to the shop and finds out that one book costs 50 rupees. Since it's cheap, he ends up buying three books for 150 rupees. Now, after 5 months, he needs to buy a notebook for a maths course. He goes back to the shop and finds out that now the book costs 100 rupees. Since he only needs one book for the maths course, he only ends up buying one book for 100 rupees. The quantity purchased varies inversely. Higher the price, lower is the quantity demanded. So the consumers use economic goods to satisfy their most urgent needs first. In our case, the buyer only needs one book, and since the prices are quite high, he only ends up buying one book. And this is based on the law of diminishing marginal utility. So as consumption increases, the satisfaction derived from each additional unit decreases. So each additional unit will be put to a less valued use. So they would want to pay less for that particular item. This is the demand curve. This blue line represents the demand and each point represents the quantity demanded. Let's take a look at point A. Since the price is high, the quantity demanded is low. Now at point C, since the price is low, the quantity demanded is high. Now a change in demand means a shift of the position or shape of this curve. So this curve can be in any form. Determinants of demand. So one of the factors that influence demand is the consumer preference. So this could be personality characteristics, age, occupation, product quality, and other factors that affect the consumer behavior. Now, second is the prices of related products. So an increase in the price of one product, say iPad, will cause a decrease in the quantity demanded of a complementary product, let's say pencil. So in contrast, an increase in the price of one product will cause an increase in the demand for a substitute product. Third factor is consumer income. So the higher the consumer income, the higher is the demand and vice versa. So if you end up earning more, you will pay higher. Fourth is the consumer expectations. So the expectations for a higher income or higher prices will increase the quantity demanded, whereas lower income will decrease the quantity demanded. So if you're expecting a pay rise for next month, you end up spending more. The number of buyers is also another factor. So the higher the number of buyers, higher will be the quantity demanded. There are also other factors like weather and governmental policies. For example, in monsoon season, raincoats will have a higher demand. Let me give you another example. Let's take Cheryl. Now Cheryl wants to fuel her gas and goes to the gas station and finds out that the gas prices have increased. Now she just lost a job, so she doesn't want to pay more money. But since gas prices are fixed, she has no other choice. So instead, she decides to pay lesser money for a complementary product, say tire. So the next time she goes to change her car's tires, she pays less for those tires. Importance of law of demand. So law of demand helps us understand the pricing of goods. It also helps us identify opportunities to buy goods at a lower price. So can law of demand be broken? It can be. For Veblen goods, demand increases as price increases. So Veblen goods are goods that are exclusive or act as status symbols. So status symbols are generally objects that signify an owner's high social and economic standing. Now these have upward sloping demand curve, whereas as we saw, a usual demand curve has a negative slope. Now another good that breaks the law of demand is the Giffen good. Now Giffen goods are goods that are not luxurious. So they are non-luxury goods and they do not have easily available substitutes. For example, rice, wheat, bread. So these are the references, and thank you very much for listening. I hope you understood about law of demand and its determinants. Thank you.